My name is Jennifer Yang. Today, I'm going to teach you how to leverage AI tools for your Amazon business. So firstly, we're going to discussing about what difference is AI technology and versus the traditional technology. So firstly, I will say they have a lot of things in common, especially you want to leverage them. For example, in traditional technology, firstly, you need to get your data ready. So especially for Amazon business, there's a lot of analytical things, a lot of data. So we need to get this data first and then store them in certain formats. So the difference of AI is they have the large language model and which is nowadays very mature, but before it's not that useful. So I will say that is the main difference between the AI technology and versus the traditional one is they can call a language model, they can understand human language, and you don't need to input your information in a certain way. And in the traditional technology world, and then only engineer can do it. And now everyone, whoever know how to type English or have a little bit knowledge how to do prompting, and you can get as good as a result as a professional engineer. But is there any fundamental difference? I don't think so. For nowadays, there's like a buzzword and called AI agent. So I'm very curious about what is different because although I have computer science major, but I'm not in this area for a long time and not a practice. I'm not a software engineer. So I'm very like the curious to learn what is this AI agent is. So after I went to several conferences and talked to a lot of engineers and architects, and then I realized it's not a too much difference between the software. It is still like a flow and it still have process and it still needs whoever going to using it. Before it's software engineer and now it's someone who does not have a tech background, they still need to understand what is workflow. So I didn't feel it's a quite difference between traditional software of AI agent. The only difference is they are using large language model and they can call the API and they can process some information that is very close to human language. So that is the things I feel they have a lot of things in common. The things is difference. My understanding is the efficiency from the coding perspective, right? And I talked to a lot of engineers and they're using some coding tools right now. And they say in traditional tools, it takes them about like 1 week to do something. Now, probably like within 1 day. So I will say the most fundamental difference will be it make things very fast. But thinking about that is like it does not solve the problem if you don't have a right strategy and you didn't understand your workflow or you have very messy data, it won't give you any good, right? So you can only make the good things even better, but start from that, it's kind of like a trash in, trash out. You cannot get value from it. So I think that is my current understanding about the AI technology nowadays. So after all those information in mind, and then I want you to picture this. You as a business owner and you're like a conductor and then you have several agents, which is software, and they're doing different things. For example, one agent is help you to do the product development and then the other agent is help you to do the product listing. You just need to tell them what is the workflow and what is the result you're expecting and what is the input information it will be and how you make your decisions and what is the decision making process. So before you need to spending time do yourself or you're going to train some people to think the same way that you think and hopefully they can get the result that you expected. And now you have a more reliable either tools. I will not consider that as a tool. I would say that would be like semi-human who can kind of like replace the entry level job position that you have to hire people to do it. Next, we're going to discussing about especially for Amazon private label business and what tools you're going to using for what. I like to break it down starting from the product cycle from product development and all the way to the sales and also the organization of your company as well. So from the business side, firstly, you need to develop your product. So product development. And during the product development phase, we're using AI very heavily because firstly, you have to do some market research. And we're using a traditional method to do some keyword research because you need to understand why people searching for product and what keyword they're using to search this product. So after you getting that information, and you have to thinking about what is the feature of the product you should include, right? And there's tools and you can getting all the product reviews from Amazon, and usually you start from your competitors reviews and you put that into AI tool, and then they're going to summarize it for you, why people like it, why people don't like it. And from that information, and you can optimize your product ideas and looking for a gap in the market and actually develop a product that is better than your competitor. I know recently Amazon has its own AI tools named roofers, and they are doing that for you as well. And in every product listing, they summarize the product listing review, and also they summarize the frequent asked question. And before you had to read the question one by one, and now they just using their own AI tools to summarize for you. I think that is also a very important information, and you can get that information from the website, summarize it so you get your product development plan. So that is for product development. So next step is how to design a product that will sell. Currently, we're using Midjourney, and it is still leading image AIs in the market, but I know other companies picking up. I know Google Gemini, they release a very good image tools as well. So like in the future, there will be more and more tools like that. But for specifically product design, as the next step is to using that type of image generated AI tools to create a mock-up. And if you want to design your product, and it's easy for you to communicate with your product designer so they can get what type of products you want to design, and it's really shorten the communications and the time that you're going back and forth with the designer, because before you just need to describe it and then they might come out with one or two versions, and you like it, you don't like it, but right now you can tell exactly what you want, so it definitely improve the efficiency of the product development. After you get your product image developed, and you're going to put into a survey, right? And you put up a survey, you ask people your opinion, and then you can use in the AI tools to summarize the surveys for you. It's very similar, like you use the same methodology to get that review from your competitor at the very beginning, and by this time it is for your own product. I think that's pretty much about product development. So the next step is sourcing and finding suppliers online. And I think for this part, we don't have specific tools for now, because right now we are still using the existing large language model for it. But I feel there will be some tools in the future, or you can develop something internally in your team or hire some freelancer to do it, just like a scraping Alibaba's data, right? And then you input the product that you develop with the product images and descriptions, and they can just browse the information of the Alibaba website or like other sourcing website that you like to use, and give you a list of the factory and you can contact with. So that way it really shorten your time to manually looking for these factories one by one, and now you just have AI do it for you. Again, I don't think this tool exists by the time that we're recording, but that is super feasible and based on the technology. So after sourcing, there will be logistic. Logistic is ship the product out from the factory to Amazon FBA. I don't feel in this stage AI is that helpful, because it's all about cost optimization and negotiation with your logistic company, because AI is not very good at numbers right now. So I will say I prefer gonna stick to the traditional way for that part. So after the ship it out or during the product is in production, and you're gonna create a product listing. So I think for this listing creation, AI is very big help. So the way that we're using it is to firstly tell them what keyword you want to include in the title, bullet point, product description. That information is very important for your product to get indexed and ranking easily after the product launch. So don't just using general model or like general prompt say, here's my product, create listing for me. It won't do any good. So the most important things for this stage is tell them what keyword you want to put into a title, bullet point. It can be customized or you can create a format for it. So for all the products that you want to list, and you can use the same format. And if you're going to have someone do it for you, and that will also enable your output is consistent, because if you didn't give them format and then product manager, they have their own way to do the prompting, they have their own way to doing things, and that might not lead to a good result after the product launch. Another important aspect for product listing is your product images and videos. Before we have someone like manually looking into your competitors or looking into the product detailed features and to write an instruction line by line to the designer, image number one, and what they want to include and what is the features, what is the selling points. So right now, like you can co-pilot with the AI and to helping you to write all those listings. That is very, very helpful for us as well. So after the product getting listed and you're gonna thinking about how to drive traffic to it and doing ads. Generally speaking, like managed campaigns, especially Amazon ads campaign, you can using AI, but I will say it will not have a major impact as for you to create a listings or doing product research. The reason why is I feel Amazon still using their traditional ranking algorithm to rank your product. And I know a lot of people, they say that, oh, Amazon is, getting to AI and the roofers and the customer and the algorithm has been changed, the traditional way to rank the product. And what my observation, also my team observation is, it do change something, especially for the recommendation, but it won't change the initial search results. So because the customer behavior doesn't change, the front end of the Amazon shopping interface does not change that much. So thinking about that, and then when you go to Amazon, you still type a keyword in their search bar, right? And you're not like doing the prompting, like you're prompting ChatGPT saying, "I'll give me some product idea about my party you're going to throw out the next week." So they have not trained people get into that searching habit yet. I think a year ago, even 2 years ago, and Amazon trying to change their ranking algorithm or guide the consumers into that direction. So that way they can leverage their AI tools more. And what I realized that they automatically change the product listing and without the seller know. And they change their titles, they change the descriptions, and they change the order of the images. And they thought that the AI will do a better job. But we realized and they're rolling back all those attempts because maybe they tested the result and it's not as good as the previous algorithm. So I would say their fundamental ranking algorithm is still the same, but the difference that we can see is the recommendation. And then their campaigns, like auto campaign, and their targeting has been changed. For example, if you targeting the exact keywords, and before you only getting ad exposure for that exact keyword, and now you can see that you're getting some related keyword, not exact that one. So I believe they definitely adding some semantic layer on that side. So I think this is things we should pay attention to, but fundamentally I don't think it changed that much. So overall, I feel at the campaign management and advertisement, and AI will not help you that much. It's more about the traditional methodology. You need to understand what is their fundamental ranking algorithm is and what they're looking for, and how to improve the conversion of the product to make sure your ranking is higher than your competitors, so Amazon can give you more traffic. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. To summarize, biggest takeaway for how you're going to using AI at the business side is don't forget the fundamental doesn't change. So customers still looking for high quality product, which is you need to make sure your reviews are good and high conversion product, and the fundamental ranking algorithm is still the same, but you can definitely using AI to make your workflow more efficient and getting the market insight more accurate. So I think that is the biggest taking away for the business side. Next, we're gonna move into the operation side, which we're going to cover HR, operation, and finance. For the HR side, I feel we're using AI the most. So before, you had to spend a lot of time doing research and to look at thinking about what you're looking for this position, what is the hard skills and soft skills, and what the company is doing for it and what is the job title we're gonna create and to check the talents. And now I just need to like having all those prompts into AI, and the answer is like almost perfect every time. The prompt I'm using, I just like list some bullet points, right? So what is responsibility and what is hard skill, soft skill, and then they can just create it. And we also have a format about job description discussing about your company and what is company vision and what is expectation for this job description. So using AI, you can make your job description so professionally before it takes a lot of time and work and to do it. So the next project that we are working currently is to create SOP for all the departments, for all the aspect of the business. Before we have some SOP, but I feel it's not fully optimized and some of those SOPs are outdated. So we're in the process about doing a new version. And AI is very good at that. But the downside is if you're going to using just the general large language model, either OpenAI or Gemini or Claude, and what they do is they just get information from the website, the public website. It might not be specific enough for your own workflows. So even though you have the tools, you still need to refine it a lot and based on your own workflow in your company. Because the Amazon private label is very specific and the information I'm getting from the website is too general. So comparing with the tools, and I feel Claude is much better than OpenAI. For example, my prompt is I like to create SOP for my Amazon private label business. And firstly, they create a template and that will cover all the business side that we have mentioned about. And then in each segment, and then they have subcategory and that will fit into that category again. And that information is from public resource and it might not your business, but that is a good starting point. And then your next prompt will be about it. That is not a prompt, but like it has to be more detailed. But for example, we need more detailed information for product development and you break it down more. And then the second prompt you have, and then he's working on the first template and then filling all the information there. So it's very similar like the actual human. You create a document and then everything that go underneath it and then they just update one document and versus OpenAI. It is all conversational, right? So they didn't remember you have created a template before and the next question that you ask, then they open up a new conversation. Even if they have the memory, they understand what you're talking about, but you still need to spending time to put information that you're getting from the prompt and copy and paste into the template and versus clock, and they know what you're doing and then they can generate the result and in the document that we created before. So I will say Claude is definitely more user-friendly and their answer is more precise and more logical instead of OpenAI. I think like they're chatting too much, right? So for SEO creation, I highly recommend Clock as the time that we're recording now. And I know the technology has getting involved very rapidly nowadays, and then we may have better tools in the future. But now I like Cloud other than OpenAI and Gemini. So financial side, I feel that still like traditional methodology works the most because again, AI is not very good at numbers. Large language model, they're good at natural language, but not numbers. So I would say you can still using your old way to do it, to do the analysis. But when I go to some conferences, I know some companies, they are doing some tools or apps or agents that you can just ask questions. For example, say, create a chart for the P&L for last month, and they can do it for you. And before you need to hire accountant to do it, or like you had to do it yourself and based on the previous number. But now you can just using a simple prompt. And how accurate the result? Again, you need to have a very good data and you have to getting all your data right and into the database. So if you don't have the right data, and then you cannot expecting them doing the right things for you. So I will say at this time, I didn't find too much useful the using LLM to do analysis. And they might have some companies or consultant companies saying that, oh, I can optimize everything, but it's high relies on how accurate your data is and how well you store your data and how's the quality of your data set. And if you have that, yes, maybe, right? And then they have some solutions and for you and to enable you as a CEO or manager of the company, and you just ask a simple question, they're going to generate report automatically. To summarize, we're discussing about how to use the AI tools to do the right thing. I would say firstly, doing the right things first, and then thinking about how to using AI to make it much faster and more efficient. This is the tools that we're using. We're using OpenAI, Gemini, Midjourney, and Claude. This is the majority ones that we're using. And based on specific task and some tools and perform better than the other, and you just need to test and to see what is the best fit for your business. So the biggest takeaway to how to leverage AI is you need to understand your workflow very well. It has to be approved workflow that make your business growing and being successful, and then using AI to make it more efficient. So the second takeaway is you need to have a quality data set in order to have AI to extract information from it and then give you a high quality response. By high quality data set, which means firstly, data need to be accurate. You need to know where to get those data. And secondly, how to install it. I highly suggest you guys, especially you want to scale the business and get your own database. You can be using the existing database platform, or you're going to hire internal data engineer to store data somewhere that you can access to it, or you can have your engineers to access in the future if you want to develop your workflow for it. If you want to working one-on-one with me, and please check my bio and use the link to book appointment, and I will walk through your business and then have a personalized business plan for you. Please like, follow, share Real Jennifer Yang for more Amazon value.